Hello today and welcome back. I hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. So today the Duchess of Sussex has given an interview to Variety magazine where she talks about grieving the Queen and producing with Prince Harry as well as returning to Hollywood. So let's get into the highlights of this article. So the article starts off by saying that the Duchess of Sussex is in mourning, but we'll get back to that. First, let's go to the day we met. And also talks about how Meghan was set to be honored at the 2022 class of Variety's Power of Women, celebrating notable achievements in entertainment and media by women through the year. She was feted for both philanthropic and creative work, including a podcast, Archetypes, of which she is the host, routed through Archewell, the company she shares with her husband, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. So she talks about how she had a fun time with Meghan in this interview, and she said that Meghan had been at ease and had great rapport with every crew member, stylist, and photographer. She also talked about Meghan's music preference. She talked more about the interview that she conducted with Meghan, and she said this, that she asked her what she wanted most out of life, and Meghan said, quote, "Joy, that's really it. It's everything that we can work towards for ourselves, our friends, our kids, those around us. That would feel so good, and we do feel joyful," end quote. So they say that nearly 3 weeks before press time, Prince Harry's grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, passed away at her Scottish estate at Balmoral. The world watched and mourned as the longest reigning monarch in British history was laid to rest and celebrated for what Meghan says was, quote, "the shining example of female leadership." So following the official period of mourning, Meghan has agreed to sit down for a lengthy discussion about her road to the present, and she worries that any comments about the Queen or her in-laws will be a, quote, "a distraction from continued mourning," but presses on to celebrate the icon. The author said that Meghan was animated in her talking about the warmth and support she received from thousands of citizens she interacted with during her time in the UK, not to mention the two significant content deals she and Prince Harry struck with streaming giants Netflix and Spotify, her two children Archie and Lilibet, who are 3 and 1 years old respectively, at the center of the Sussex household, and how tenaciously she has fought to build the life and company of her dreams. So the interviewer asks her this, "The world has been mourning the loss of Queen Elizabeth. How has this time been?" Meghan replied, "There's been such an outpouring of love and support. I'm really grateful that I was able to be with my husband to support him, especially during that time. What's so beautiful is to look at the legacy that his grandmother was able to leave on so many fronts. Certainly in terms of female leadership, she is the most shining example of what that looks like. I feel deep gratitude to have been able to spend time with her and get to know her. It's been a complicated time, but my husband, ever the optimist, said, quote, now she's reunited with her husband," end quote. So the interviewer asked, "Has anything come up for you in your relationship with the Queen since her passing?" Meghan replied, "I've reflected on that first official engagement that I had with her. How special that felt. I feel fortunate. And I continue to be proud to have had a nice warmth with the matriarch of the family." And she was also asked, "How have you processed this loss as a family?" Meghan replied, "In big moments of life, you get a lot of perspective. It makes you wonder what you would want to focus your energy on. Right now, we feel energized and excited about all of the things we've been building towards. We're also focused on our foundation. So much of the work we do includes the philanthropic space." She was also asked, "You've done 2 major interviews since returning to America, one with Oprah and the other with New York Magazine, which some found to be snarky. What has it been like to open up about your life now?" Meghan replied, "The New York story was intended to support Archetypes and focus on our projects. I've had some time to reflect on it. Part of me is just really trusting, really open. That's how I move in the world. I have to remember that I don't ever want to become so jaded that that piece of me goes away. So despite any of those things, onward, I can survive it." So she was also asked, what was it like the days after the Oprah interview aired on TV before an audience of 18 million people? Meghan replied, even before the interview, I hadn't been out because I was so pregnant. The one thing I really remember was Gloria Steinem's birthday a few days after it aired. I really wanted to celebrate her at what I thought was just going to be a small and intimate birthday lunch. I envisioned it being us eating sandwiches in this cottage she was staying at. Instead, it was an extravaganza, by the way. But I hadn't really seen people in a long time, and the interview had come out maybe a week before. Walking into a room alone is never easy for me, and I remember feeling a bit uncomfortable. But before I could let my uncertainty linger, Pamela Adlon came up to me and greeted me with such warmth and kindness. She toured me around the room, and at every turn, more generosity and love was felt. Maybe it's just a testament to the kind of company Glow keeps, but I also think these women were extraordinary to ensure me I felt so welcomed. It's like they knew exactly what I needed to feel in at that moment. It means, and it still means so very much to me, the power of sisterhood and female support can never be underestimated. And she also asked, what can we expect from Liz Garbus' docuseries on you and your husband? Meghan replied, it's nice to be able to trust someone with our story, a seasoned director whose work I've long admired. Even if it means it may not be the way we would have told it, but that's not why we are telling it. We're trusting our story to someone else, and that means it will go through their lens. It's interesting, my husband has never worked in this industry before. For me, having worked on Suits, it's so amazing to be around so much creative energy and to see how people work together and share their own points of view. That's been really fun. So without going into all word by word, she talks about interviewing Paris Hilton, and she said it was her most challenging interview. And she talked about the fact that she was embarrassed to admit that she'd had judgments about her based on what she had seen of her growing up. Meghan also said she didn't grow up pretty. She grew up as the smart one. And she also talked about that in her podcast. And she talked about how she wanted Paris to open up. She wanted her to feel safe and comfortable. And she talked about how she wanted her to be humanized, wanting it to be a got you, not a gotcha moment for Paris. And she said this, quote, I don't care what situation you're in. If a 16-year-old boy or girl or woman in the workplace feels objectified or dehumanized because of their character is misrepresented, I hope everyone listening with an open mind could come away thinking, could I just actually consider for a second that there's a person there, end quote. So Meghan talked about the industry. She talked about her time on Suits and how the industry has changed. And she also talked about the Me Too movement and the strides that have been made in demanding accountability in the industry from those who before perhaps would have gotten away with a lot. And she also was asked a question on whether she would ever consider going back to acting. She says this, quote, no, I'm done. I guess never say never, but my intention is to absolutely not. She was also asked about going through the process she did with the monarchy and becoming a private citizen again, and she asked, are those institutions similar? And she said this, every business has a model. I worked for NBC Universal and the USA Network, and that was all part of a very large organization. Bonnie Hammer was my mentor. Very early on in Suits, she took me under her wing, and that was invaluable to me. Talk about a woman who can balance being a mom, creating so much in the industry, and having a strong sense of self. I would sit at breakfast with her, studying what she ordered, hanging on her every word. So she was also asked about her ideal project, and this is her answer. Quote, so much of how my husband and I see things is through our love story. I think that people around the world connected to, especially with our wedding. People love love, and I'm not excluded in that sentiment. And our definition of love is really expansive. Partner love, self-love, the love of community and family. We use that as the baseline of the kinds of shows and documentaries we want to see there. For my husband, the Invictus Games has been such a huge piece of his life and his work. Having been in the Army for 10 years and working for the rehabilitation of wounded vets and their families, we talk about emotional injuries that come from those types of experiences. These are love stories. For scripted, we want to think about how we can evolve from that same space and do something fun. It doesn't always have to be so serious. Like a good rom-com, don't we miss them? I miss them so much. I've probably watched When Harry Met Sally a million times, and all the Julia Roberts rom-coms, we need to see those again. And she also says, I don't think you'll ever see us doing a horror film, she says. And she was also asked what if her kids came to her in 10 or 15 years and said that they wanted a career in entertainment. Meghan says, I would say, great. When you become a parent, you genuinely want your kids to find the things that bring them complete joy. They are our kids, obviously. They are part of a legacy and a tradition and a family that will have other expectations, but I want them to be able to carve out their own path. If it's the entertainment industry, great. And also, good luck. There are so many people that will talk about what opened the door for my children, but it still takes talent and a lot of grit. We are creating multi-dimensional, interesting, kind, creative people. That's who our kids are. So she's also asked about an actor who might play her in the future. She says, I haven't given that much thought, to be honest. It's all weird. You have to compartmentalize. Anyone talking about me or casting an actor to play me, that will be a caricature of me. And that's been created for a business that makes people a lot of money. And she said it had nothing to do with her. And she was also asked, what's one piece of advice you'd give an actor 100 years from now who's cast as Meghan? She answered, I hope that in preparing for that role, she finds the softness and the playfulness and the laughter, the silliness. I just hope she finds the dimensions. Also, she can call me. So she was also asked about how she would like people to understand her. She says that no one has ever asked that. She said this, I can only speak for myself, but I think feeling understood and seen are really important. And also, what's an average workday for her and Harry? She says that we share an office. We work from home, as most people started to do during the lockdown. It allows us to have significant time with our kids at this really special moment in their lives. We'll never get back this time. I make breakfast and we get the kids set for the day. We do a lot of joint calls and Zooms, but we also try to divide what we can focus our energies on so we can accomplish even more. My husband is on a 24-hour time zone, where half of your life is waking up as the other half is going to sleep. It's kind of the reverse of what I went through living in the UK. He's very good at responding on text. Me, I try to be as fast as possible on email. I've always said it takes less than 5 minutes. Do it now. She also talked about the snack breaks that they have. She said that they drove down recently for a day of back-to-back meetings equipped with chocolate chip cookies the size of her toddler's head. She also said this quote, my husband's favorite is In-N-Out. There's one at the halfway point between LA and our neck of the woods. It's really fun to go through the drive-thru and surprise them. They know our order. So of course, those are my highlights on the interview. I've left a lot out so you can go and read it for yourself. So as you can see, it's been confirmed. There is in fact a docuseries with Netflix. So it's great to have that confirmed. I know when I gave the scoop through Deadline a couple of days ago, a couple of you were not sure. You're talking about tabloids. That's why I kept stressing that Deadline Hollywood is not a tabloid. On this channel, I actually did start out covering a lot of entertainment and reactions. And for the years I've been doing that, I've kind of gotten a handle on the news sources that can be trusted. So when I felt confident enough to tell you that they had a docuseries, I did not bring it up because of the tabloids had been talking about it. By the time it reaches Deadline, you know, those are the guys who have the insider information and they know. And I really felt compelled to share that with you because, of course, you know, with the tabloids that they take and they can spin a whole story out of it being delayed. And, you know, I wanted to put a positive spin on it because I knew the news source was trusted. So guys, please trust me when I bring you news that's entertainment based. I would never go off of a tabloid story. So I just wanted to insert this here because I saw a few comments in this comment section talking about how that it was nothing but a rumor and a tabloid story that they had a docuseries on Netflix. But now we have it straight from Meghan's mouth. So guys, when you see the other videos I make on entertainment, kindly go over there and watch those videos. We can all learn a few things about how the entertainment industry works as well as reputable news sources that are like Variety and Deadline that are the major trades. They always have to verify their sources because if they print just rumors, they become less trusted. So always take it from me. I want to always bring you facts and trust it when we talk about scoops. It's not a leak, that's a scoop. And I cover that so that I can put the positive spin on it, not as the tabloids were saying that it was because of something negative. We now know that if it's indeed been delayed, that they get to polish it and work on it and have it released at a time where it can shine on its own and not be eclipsed by whatever they're doing over there with the crown. So I want to just insert this here. But wonderful conversation all in all with Meghan and Variety. She's talked about a lot, and I want to know your standouts in the comment section. So by the way, can we take a minute to appreciate how beautiful Meghan looks in all of these images? I have so many favorites right now, and I love the fact that the photographer captures her essence so well in so many of these pictures. She looks delightful, and she is glowing and happy and in a really great space, and it captures her class, her fun side as well. I'm just so fascinated by so many of these images, and let me know your favorite shot in the comment section. This is mine. Just look at her owning that space, owning the shot. And as we know, the camera loves Meghan. She looks absolutely exquisite in this one. I just love this. What's not to love in all of these images? She looks so great. So let me know your favorite one. I like how she answers the question about whether she would ever return to acting. And she says no, but she says never say never. Who knows, one day we may see her in a cameo. Maybe one day we can see her taking part in, even if it's a small part of a production, in the vein of how Grace Kelly, who became Princess of Monaco, did after she married into that royalty. So who knows? She said never say never. But I love the fact that she talks about how life for them is, that her and Harry share an office. They really are a team, and how they've settled into life in the US, and also how Prince Harry is always keeping his ties with home. It's wonderful to see that she talked very warmly about the Queen. As I said before, Meghan has tremendous respect for the Queen. And it was reciprocated in how the Queen showed her warmth and embraced her. And allow me here just to plug a video where I go into how the Queen understood the value of the union of Harry and Meghan, and I covered that in depth, so check for that link. It'll come up right now. So thank you all for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you to those who support this channel, to my Patreon, PayPal, and membership supporters. Thank you. And a special shout out right now to a couple of you. Thank you to Anna Thorne. Anna, I love you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you as well to Patricia Crenshaw, who's also been supporting this channel for a while. I want to say thank you and God bless you. Thank you to JCD as well. Thank you so much for giving. I want to say that you are so meaningful and dear to me. And thank you to Valerie Stedeno. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you from the depth of my heart. Thank you to Arnold Sanders as well for always supporting this channel. Thank you for commenting in all the ways that you engage on this channel. Thank you. And thank you once again to some newer supporters of this channel. Thank you to Valerie Smith. Thank you for choosing to come along with me on this journey. Thank you to Ethne Green as well. Thank you so much for your love and your support for my work. Once again, thank you to all who support this channel financially. I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful to God that you are in my corner, and I say God bless. Once again, thank you to those who like, comment, and share. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let YouTube know you enjoyed what you watched. It helps out the channel. Have a great day wherever you are. Again, leave your highlights and standouts in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.